I blow loud raspberries with my lips and tongue, or I stomp my feet with my heeled mini school boots on, or I bounce upon my school chair, hair all bouncing too. Okay, this is like weird. This is really odd. This is so scary. Does he have a tongue ring there? He has like a piercing on his lip. This is so weird, dude. I'm sorry, I keep saying this, but this is so freaky, man. I'm like seriously weirded out. So Smartschoolboy9, I don't know anything about it other than I think it involves Instagram in some way. But this is a topic that like 100 people asked me to make a video about. Whatever you do, don't check stream description. True, don't check it, Bri. Like a ton of people asked me to do a video about this, and I just like with most requests I get, I just have too many things in the works already, so I don't have time to get to it. Like, but you know, Nick Crowley made a video about it one day ago that already has a bunch of views. So I think this would probably be a good explanation of it for people who want to know. I generally like Nick Crowley, this work he does, good content creator, so I'm curious to see what he's got cooked up for us. And I will say the obese allegations from whoever this individual is are not being beaten. I mean, look at that visage, look at that beautiful visage. Okay, we're on kind of a different wave, a different arc here. Okay,
creepy accounts pretending to be kids. I came across a reel randomly, and it's led me down this weird rabbit hole of people using AI or dressing up pretending to go to school. They all seem to have high heels, check images in them. Is this an age play thing or something more sinister? Literally anything helps as I keep trying to look for answers.
It's probably some combination of both, if I had to guess, because I think you'll notice for a lot of like, feel weird saying this, I think you'll notice for a lot of files, which I have noticed definitely when researching them, is they often identify with the idea of being a child. And I think the reasoning why for the psychology would be that a lot of files are not born a pedophile, they got molested themselves, which then makes them attracted to kids because they identify with their and they also identify with the state of mind they were in at that point in time, right? And because of that, they like, not only do they want to have sex with children, they also want to like dress up like them. They idolize being a child. They romanticize it because of their like stolen sense of innocence. It's like it's a brutal cycle. The pedophilia thing, that's like super tough to deal with because like to stop pedophiles from existing entirely. Obviously, there are some people who are probably born that way. There are also some people who probably like get down that rabbit hole because of addiction, if I had to guess. But a lot of them, you know, the traditional sense that, you know, we've been taught about from like DSM-5 and stuff is like, you know, predator takes advantage of young child grows up and then becomes a predator themselves, right? And it's not the case with everyone who gets accused, but for some of them it is. And it's like a super tough cycle to just like stop societally, to cut it out, you know? The only solution seems to be that when you find out someone's a file, you do a little Thanos snap, but I don't really know.
This post was made to the subreddit r/Instagram by the user cut792 on April 15th, 2024. It featured screenshots of 3 bizarre-looking Instagram pages they had encountered earlier that day, with OP expressing concern that something truly disturbing was happening with these users. And those in the thread agreed. What the actual found all of them and blocked them all. Truthsticks11 is seriously creepy to me. I've been trying to find more about them, but can hardly find anything. Very weird account to say the least. The 3 accounts apparently belong to 3 different children. However, when combing through their posts, the content seems to imply something much more bizarre was afoot, something truly disturbing.
Was that Gold Freddy?
This post would be the start of a story that would eventually be picked up and shared all across the online world, becoming one of the more notorious internet mysteries in recent memory, as these accounts revealed an unending rabbit hole that is still being traversed to this very day. In an ongoing investigation into one of the most depraved oddities ever found on Instagram, this is the emerging story of Smartschoolboy9.
1, 2, 3.
Really creepy aesthetics during this whole video. Damn. This is like to give him some credit, okay, despite the fact his investigations were all fake. Mama Max had the aesthetics down, you know. The Hotline Miami vaporwave, creepy music, ooh, you know. Hey, real recognize real, okay? From one artist to another, from one brother to another, okay? They look nice. Thank you, Captain Odyssey, for becoming a member.
We'll return after these messages.
Almost got me with that one. This video is going to make you drink. If watching videos like this make you drink, you shouldn't watch it. That's bad. Should not be numbing the pain away. If stuff like that, if topics like this are stuff you can't handle without the use of substances, then just don't consume stuff like this.
Beautiful boy, an account looked after by me, a degree-educated mother choosing to stay anonymous. This was the bio of the first account pictured in the Reddit post, an account named Truthsticks11, which was said to be operated by a 12-year-old boy and his mother. Back in October of 2021, the duo would make their very first post, kicking things off on a somewhat concerning note, though not for their own page, but instead another account on the platform.
So that's the account run by and pretending
That voice is so weird.
to be a boy.
The video was
That voice is so creepy, bro. What the I have like goosebumps right now. This is really weirding me out. I don't like this.
Created and posted by the mother for the sole purpose of warning others of a specific user who had been posing as a child online when in actuality he was a grown man who did this in order to get close to and exploit other children across the platform. It's the grim reality of this online world, as predators will do just about anything to get closer to children, and it's a reality.
Yeah, this is something that I feel like this has come up in some video I made at some point. Predators will just make fake profiles pretending to be kids, right? Like on Roblox, I think Ruben Sims definitely talked about this. Like, 30-year-old, men will make like an account called like, I'm 12, I'm into this thing, I'm into Roblox, right? And they'll go on Roblox and then they'll try to like e-date a real child who is 12. And then, they'll try to like get something out of them for that way, right? They pose as a kid. It's pretty disturbing. And like, there's like, once again, there's like a twofold thing for them there where like on one hand, not only are they like preying on a kid and that's what they want to do, but secondly, there's also like a psychological aspect of they probably identify with like thinking they're in the mind of a child. It's super weird.
Often unrealized or even ignored by parents, which makes it almost refreshing that this mother was out here trying to raise awareness. These posts would become the crux of the account early on. They would call out this user and their many accounts again and again, eventually going more in depth about what this person would actually do, claiming that they had a strange perversion to dressing up as a young schoolboy. Does he wish he were a young boy in a school classroom, looking nice and being successful at school? Yes. This theme of calling out online predators would remain consistent throughout the years on Truth Sticks 11. However, after some time, the mother behind the account began to use the page for its initially intended purpose: to share photos of her son. The photos began reasonably normal and would show this young boy studying at school, accepting awards from their principal, and even school presentations in which their son had attended, with the captions often
Is that all the same kid?
to share photos of her son.
Okay, that's one photo. Is this like an AI generated photo or something? I'm almost thinking it's not real. Why is this child making a phone call with like paperwork out? I was not doing this when I was 10 years old. Is this how they do it in England? Hey, Tom, I want to say your videos help me with my chemotherapy. Huge fan. Keep it up. Take it easy, brother. Good luck. How much for more Lunchables content? Also, I'm going to buy more vape juice. I'd Zin, but I don't like the chemical taste. Kind of ironic. If you want to watch me eat Lunchables, just stick around till the end of the stream. And if you're still in chat, I'll buy it myself.
Began reasonably normal and would show this young boy studying at school, accepting awards from their principal, and even
This is not even the same kid, if this is even a real photo.
school presentations in which their son had attended, with the captions often boasting about how intelligent the young boy was.
It's hood stuff you wouldn't know. Okay, you're right. My bad.
Though over time, the photos began to grow stranger.
Those are clearly AI or Photoshop or some weird combination of that. What is that? What is that?
Off.
Is that Jeffree Star's child? Almost as if they're AI generated. I mean, almost. I don't even know what that is. It's not even an approximation of a real human being.
Began to appear heavily edited in an almost inexplicable.
It almost seems like something people would include in like an ARG, right? Like you'd almost expect to see like a screenshot like this in like Pilot Red Sun.
With deep red lipstick often being added, which was enunciated by his face being turned pure white. This unsettling trend would continue from
Bro is genetically the Joker. Thank you for the dono, Meme Hawk. I'm doing good.
here, as with each passing post, the photos grew less authentic and more.
I'm sorry.
And would continue from here, as with each passing post, the photos grew less.
This looks like Donald Trump as a child or something. What is this? Why is this kid balding at like 1 year old? What is this, bro? Tom, do you mess with whippets? No. Take it easy, Narrow Raven. Thanks for the dono.
Less authentic and more surreal.
Yeah, the school uniforms look like they're from Bully or something like that, right? It looks like a shitty negative PS1 game. Before the PS1, the negative PS1. This is what games look like. And they were fire. What the hell is that? That's like Jeff the Killer. This is like he's got like the friar cut. It's like 19th century, even before that, 14th century painting. Average child in the 14th century when he finds out about digital circus or whatever. Average child when he finds out about Bendy's digital circus.
Until they became straight up disturbed, even sickening. These bizarre edits spilled over past just the images too, as the post began to.
They are weird. They are sickening, but they're also like, the art is just so bad. It's funny. Hey, Tom, cool content. Lost my job after shitting myself during company outing. Your videos help me wait for my dry cleaning. Well, good luck with that, buddy. Make sure to shit yourself in your next boardroom meeting. So you get to be CFO.
Collages, often showcasing multiple grotesque images and paragraphs about how much this user loved school. And this wasn't the only shift either.
What did that text say? Truth_sticks_11. So this is the name of the account. Important keys to childhood leadership at school. Be tidy when it comes to written ideas. Know what's where in your spare school books and have stickers on the front with the 5 best ideas. Lead with those ideas. School isn't a silence game. There are bits of silence and words of childhood. Okay, so even the captions are like ChatGPT. Indicate to your classmates when you'd like to speak during a classroom debate. I blow loud raspberries with my lips and tongue, or I stomp my feet with my heeled mini school boots on, or I bounce upon my school chair, hair all bouncing too. Okay, this is like weird. This is really odd.
And paragraphs about how much this user
build up a massive personal drive and relish for originality. What? It's like Andrew Tate's advice for children. Make boyhood hairstyles bounce with the classroom energy. Make school beef cases bulge with this cool schoolwork. If you go to school, focus on school. Be something there that you can't quite be elsewhere. Boyhood and school focus. Me in the school classroom knowing I'm good. Yeah, me when I'm having a fun time. Me when I'm having a good time. Just gotta look as much like Jeff the Killer as possible.
loved school.
Hustlers Preschool.
And this wasn't the only shift either. At some point, the son behind the account began posting content that allegedly came directly from him, saying things like, "My really cool mom asked me if I'd like to post, and I said, yes, please." He even shared supposed videos that he had filmed of himself, which were equally as unconvincing as his photos, and somehow even more chilling.
What the hell is that? What the is that? Here's me at school nodding to affirm that I had my homework ready for the teacher to read. And he may even get teaching ideas from, as I'm quite good in my written work. But how ready is being ready? Readiness in a, can't read the rest of that, but I don't like this. Dude, this is really weird. This is really, it's like funny, but also like very unsettling. What is this, like chill lo-fi?
The boy even shows off his singing in one of the clips.
Having answers to questions in the classroom is cool, but knowing that the topic is one where advanced knowledge and fulfillment are almost guaranteed and being ready if other children look to you for tips on how to study it creatively is clever. And if it involves traveling to a part of the world for the first time as part of a school or family visit, such as mine recently, to Jerusalem, Japan, Sri Lanka, and Zimbabwe. This child is going straight to Zimbabwe, guys. It's beautiful. Okay, he's taking a pilgrimage to Zimbabwe to find out about his true Yakubian ancestors. I mean, look at the pigment on this child. He's clearly, African as hell. You feel that these lands put your mind in leadership mode, in learning mode. I learned to read, but I learned also to look where I might need. Why are you selling bathwater? Bro, we don't get the bathwater shit out of chat while we're watching this, okay? No. Just no. Thanks for the donut.
Oh, their voice sounds off.
I'd say he's going to be on American Idol soon, actually. I disagree with you, Nick Crowley. That kid is talented, okay? That kid's very talented.
The account was overall anomalous and extremely off-putting. And though this content was visually...
What was the description on that account? Beautiful boy in account looked after by me. A degree-educated mother, choosing to stay anonymous. Good original written work, advice, and compassion. Who are the people following this? 17 followers? Are these bot followers? Or are these is this like a whole community of people? Or are these like children who followed it?
The account was overall anomalous and extremely off-putting. And though this content was visually alarming, another aspect made it even more so concerning, as over time, many of the images began to resemble CP, showcasing these fake AI children in explicit positions, with their faces sometimes even being photoshopped onto scantily dressed adult bodies. One thing is blatantly obvious about the Truth Sticks account: the supposed child behind it is not real. Even in the more passable photos at the very beginning, there's evidence to suggest that these were likely AI as well.
Yeah, likely is putting it lightly. I would be curious, are they using, because there is AI technology where like it's like completely generated from Google, and then there's others where you input your own like kind of like sources, and then it will like give a spit out. So is this some kind of adult that's like, it's very, one of the most common places that kids will get abused is by close family or friends or stuff like that, right, who take advantage of them. Is this someone who's like, a predator who's using pictures of like family members for the AI inputs? Because there is some consistency to all of it, with like some of like the hairstyle, like the blonde hair, stuff like that, even with how off it is. So are they doing that, or are they just pulling random stuff from Google? That's what I would be curious about. Like, what is the origin of this kind of stuff? Who is running it?
And based on the disturbed, borderline illegal content that this page featured, it seemed more than likely that whoever was behind this page was not an innocent mother concerned for the welfare of other children, but instead a predatory individual themselves. And this wasn't their only account. The second page featured on the Reddit post belonged to a user named GirlChloe12 and bore a strike.
This is how you know it's like such a fake account, because the name will be so generic, right? Instead of it being like something that actually says something about the personality, it'll be like one of the most bare bones basic usernames, girl.chloe12. Like, it doesn't really say anything about the person. An actual 12-year-old would put like Zargoth the Destroyer, I love Bratz dolls, or some shit like that. It wouldn't be girl.chloe12. It's kind of strange.
Striking similarities to Truth Sticks. The page was also supposedly run by a child and monitored by their parent. Bizarrely, they also posted frequently about the dangers of...
To all other school children, be careful, because there's creeps online pretending to be boys, and there's so many of the mega links, ones that are desperate for photos of children, and thus should be completely avoided, such as these accounts. Seems to be the same bloke filming himself in drag and punching walls with obviously really manly hands. So odd. Whoa. Are they based? That is interesting that they, like, this account that's like from some weirdo is delineating between themselves and between like this freak is wearing girl clothes. It's like, well, is the bigger problem that person wearing girl clothes or what you're posting? You know,
online predators, with the wording of these posts and the editing being essentially the exact same as Truth Sticks, just not as
they almost like the way these posts are. Like this looks like it's like some horror thing, right? It looks like it's like from an ARG. Doomed to resist perverts online and anywhere is a huge blow to their egos, their agendas, their deceit, their empires, their collective world of depravity. A man may pretend to be many young boys online, but where you draw the line is in such a freak deceiving you. You are a sovereign human being. Like, almost feel like they're intentionally written, but they also, the wording and phrasing and some of like the grammatical mistakes and misspellings almost makes it seem like it's AI generated. But AI typically doesn't misspell stuff, I don't think, either. But this itself, this looks like a flyer from The Ring or something. Like, it looks weird. An exploding head of perverted ideas headed for hell. Super interesting.
wording of these posts and the editing being essentially the exact same as Truth Sticks, just not as over the top. These two accounts even frequently interacted with each other, thus providing a substantial link on its own.
Yeah, the names are kind of similar too, right?
But by far the most compelling link between these pages
that is sorry. This is a dark topic. This picture is just funny.
is one that is easy to miss at a glance, with that being a blatant obsession with high-heeled mini boots.
What is that picture? What is that? That is freaky. That is so odd. It's particularly unsettling how the like weird edited photos of like people or kids are put over like a very simple background. It makes it like a very uncanny valley.
Shown in virtually every single post made by these two users. At playtime, I'm sometimes running around with my really cool heeled footwear I wear with my uniform.
This is like that dude in Mindhunter who shoes. You remember that serial killer in Mindhunter who was at one point they needed information out of him, the FBI dudes. What was his name? I can't remember his name, but they were like, listen, we got something for you. And they pull out shoes. He just runs away and jerks off in the shoes.
After coming home from school, education isn't over for the day once the blue blazer, gray jersey, neat tie, white shirt, tailored
Edward Kemper. Great show, by the way. Excellent show. Rip Mindhunter, wish it wasn't canceled. I wish it wasn't canceled too, but I will say, like, season 1 was way better than season 2. If it hadn't been canceled, I'm kind of scared where season 3 would have gone, because like season 1 was great. It was all about like serial killer profiling and like the, you know, psychological world of them, you know, diagnoses, changing the sort of system of understanding these people from like this like Puritan, like, these people are just born this way, they're sick, let's, you know, kill all of them right now, like they're going to hell, versus like the more modern understanding of like a lot of these people are the way they are because of their environment and that background, which doesn't justify what they did, but it does explain it and help us prevent it in the future, right? That was really interesting. Season 2 kind of explored that, but it also had this weird arc with like the like I can't remember his name in the show, but the like Chad detective, the like Chad FBI agent, his like autistic son. I didn't care about that arc at all. It was kind of like forced. I just was like, whatever. Some of the personal drama between the people, like the main character and his like girlfriend, ex-girlfriend, I didn't really care about that. Or also like the doctor, the female professor from, I think she's from like BU or some other place, some other institution in Boston, right? Her like lesbian arc, like I found it kind of interesting to like acknowledge that as like a part of her character, but like seeing her whole drama with like her like ex-girlfriend versus her new love interest, like I just didn't give a shit. I want to hear about the freaks. I want to hear about the serial killers, okay? I want to hear about Son of Sam. I want to hear about Charles Manson, okay? Which they did really well, by the way. That stuff, you know, Edmund Kemper, that stuff was really well done. But like the more the character drama in season 2 between the characters and like their personal lives, I didn't care about as much. It would have been fine if that was in there to like humanize them and have that as more of a background thing, but it wasn't as appealing to me, you know, once we got to that point. Season 1 is still perfect kino though, and season 2 is still really good, but season 1 was chef's kiss, truly, okay? Super fire.
Close fit gray trousers and black heeled mini boots are in the wardrobe. No matter what they discussed, school uniforms and mini boots were always a talking point, which adds confirmation to something that is already becoming apparent. This is fetish content, not too unlike the bizarre accounts in the Pipergate rabbit hole. Fetish content centered around children, and what makes the Chloe account so disturbing is that AI was seemingly not used. And rather, the images seem to be of actual children.
Oh no.
Despite this disturbing distinction, these two accounts are cut from the same cloth, and all signs point to them being created by the same person. A person who, despite their constant warnings of the dangers of adults pretending to be children online, seems to be doing the exact same thing.
It's probably projection. Like they're constantly talking about it and like, posturing about it and like being, it's constantly on their mind because they themselves are into it. Therefore, it's like to the forefront. In their mind, they probably have some level of cognitive dissonance. Like, I'm not a real predator. I'm not that kind of person. I'm calling them out on my account. I'm protecting kids actually, which is why they need to message me right now. Like it's interesting to note that actual files will also often have an intense obsession with pedophilia, like in like a negative way. You know what I mean? It's really interesting. Not that pedophilia is a good thing. I'm just saying. Common trend I've noticed.
As part of some sort of fetish, the extent of which we'll discuss later. But for now, one thing was for certain. These pages were not run by children or their parents, so who created them? Well, that brings us to our third and final account shown in that initial post.
Smartschoolboy9.
Smartschoolboy9 was much the same as the other two accounts. They warned of online predators, obsessed over high-heeled mini boots and school uniforms, and posed as a child despite clearly not.
Thanks for clearing that up. The reason I say obvious shit like that on stream, the reason I do that is because like people can easily take a clip out of context of me saying something to be like, he said this clearly. And I just want to make sure that if you pull the actual clip, it's clear that like I was like, it's totally out of context. So that's why I like will clarify 15 times on stream. It's probably annoying for the viewing experience, but I'm aware of how clippers will take things,
being one. But Smart Schoolboy was different in one key aspect. The person behind the account was pretending to be a child, but they were doing so in a much more apparent manner, as they didn't use AI or stolen images of other kids to form their identity, and instead, they used photos of...
Is that Nikocado Avocado?
...himself.
Is that a real picture of a person? What is this? This is like a fat Peter Griffin lookalike that's carrying a school lunchbox and dressed up like in a child's uniform. This is the other thing. They always self-report. They can't help themselves but tell the world about how much of a freak they are. Really strange. Like if this guy wanted to hide who he was, why the f would he be posting pictures of himself on the account? Uber Eats has arrived. True. This guy's greatest crime is not the pedophilia. It's the Uber Eats addiction, clearly.
In the images posted on the account,
what the hell is that?
We see what appears to be a fully grown man.
Okay, the other two look AI. This one looks like a real photo. He looks like he's wearing a skin mask.
Dressed in a schoolboy's uniform. His face is painted pure white and has bright red lipstick. And he's, of course, wearing...
What the hell is that? This looks like a PS1 render. This looks so weird. This looks like it was made in Blender for like a Kane Pixels video. This looks so odd.
High-heeled mini boots. Characteristics that were all utilized across the other account, only this time it was done on himself, as he poses as a child, pretending to go to school, as well as pretending to go through other life events common for preteens. And the photos aren't even the most disturbing part, as the account consists primarily of videos.
Dude, this is some serial killer shit. What the f is this? This is so creepy.
Maybe if you like, as well.
The videos are all incredibly off-putting. Some show him arriving home from school.
Why is their tongue always out? Do they get stung by a bee in the tongue? What is this? This is so odd, man. I'm actually, you know what? I'm glad I didn't take the suggestion to make a video out of this because would the views have been good? Maybe. But I'm thankful I didn't have to look at any of this freak shit when researching a video because there's probably worse stuff than this that he couldn't include in the video. I'm glad I didn't have to look at that. I've seen enough of that in my life, I think. I've been traumatized enough by shit that I, didn't have to see.
Others show him claiming to be on the bus heading toward school.
Yeah, okay. Yes, the school bus.
And other videos showing him doing whatever this is.
That's flicker gooning. Just to inform you, Smartschoolboy9, okay? That's called flicker gooning, and you need to reflect as such in your content. Is he sucking on like a binky? Is there something in his mouth, or is he wearing like a skin mask? What is that? I'm scared, dude. I'm scared too. I'm scared. I'm all alone in my basement. Anything could happen behind this. This guy could be behind me right now. I'm actually psyching myself out now. This is creepy as though. I'm gonna have nightmares about this freak.
With these strange sounds and the process of sticking his tongue out appearing to be part of his fetish.
What the hell is that? Proving that I have the best school face, practicing before school. So the writing there is British, and given the prep school stuff, I'm guessing this guy is from Britain.
As much like the other accounts, his content is overtly sexual, in its own bizarre way.
Good thing I bought my shotgun, yeah.
In fact, there's a video of him with his full...
Dude, this looks like it would be a creepypasta character. Like, it's hard to believe this is even a thing that someone's posting, because this actually looks like it would be, like, in fiction. This is so odd, man. Insane tongue game? Dude, true. It goes crazy, I bet. Imagine the... Never mind. That's too much for this.
Full outfit on, where he shows himself staring into a mirror as he appears to... pleasure himself.
Is he
right out of
Aztec
view of
flicker
the
gooning?
camera.
It's more of a Mayan thing. At least goes back to Tenochtitlan. Okay, this is an ancient technique involving the sacrifice of small animals, which is why the tongue looks like that. It's swollen from eating roadkill.
As he stares
Actually, where was that Aztec, Inca, largest Mexican, blah, 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 blah. Which civilization was it? Okay, it was the Aztecs, actually. Okay, I remember this from middle school history class.
into his own eyes. This account is by far the most sickening part of this whole rabbit hole, and also the most important. Interspersed throughout his page are a few examples of what this individual's voice sounds like,
This is quite good.
which just so happens to be the
Is their voice pitch shifted, or are they like doing like I'm a little voice? Is that pitch shifted?
same voice heard in the very
This
first
video would kill a Victorian child instantly. It would send them straight to heaven. Yes. If a Victorian child saw this, you would visibly be able to see the angel leave their body and be accepted into Peter's arms. Okay. It's true. It's true. It is what it is. You know, I don't make the rules.
clip shown on the Truth Sticks account.
I'm tending to be a boy.
He's like calling himself out with one of the accounts. He has his own little like universe of accounts where he's interacting with each other. That's like a cinematic universe of weird content. That's so weird. That's so fascinating. This person's mind must be super, super twisted. I would love to see like a therapist interview this guy, as disturbing as it would be. I would love to know what's going on inside this freak's head.
Meaning that this full-grown adult man is the one behind this entire rabbit hole. He's the one on these accounts pretending to be a child and their mother, getting some sort of sick satisfaction from whatever this is. And the worst part is, these activities aren't just kept behind closed doors. As we can see on numerous occasions, of him walking around outside in a public space.
He walks outside doing this shit? So there must be people in real life who know about this freak, right? There must be people in real life who know this dude and have seen him exist and are like, that guy's weird.
With his full outfit and face
What's up with Jared?
paint on.
What is Jared dressed like? What the? Oh my God. Why are his teeth? Are those real teeth? They look fake, right? He looks like he's wearing some kind of mask or he has something in his mouth that like his tongue is sticking out of. As I'm walking home from school, you can hear a guy say to me, "You've been a good boy." Cool. This is insane.
Look at school.
Imagine you see that weirdo walking down the street in your neighborhood. Imagine you're driving home, you're pulling into the driveway, okay? And you just look to your left and you see this thing that's like, "I've been a good boy." Bro, serious self-defense situation. That's very right. That's very right, Omegatronic. Dude, imagine two of them. Imagine there's multiple of them. They're friends. This is like signs of the end times, my friends. This is so odd.
It's truly one of the strangest things that I've ever seen, and making sense of what this all is extremely difficult. But based on the information found from this first Reddit post, a few likely conclusions can be put forward. This man is clearly attracted to the idea of being a kid, and I think OP was correct when they speculated that this was some sort of age play thing, but it's also clearly much more than that too. As based on the images that he's created himself, he clearly has some sort of attraction to other children as well, as he's quite literally created faux CP, the likes of which is so disturbing that I can't even really describe it here either. He's creating fetish content, and he's using the likeness of children, and also some children that are clearly very real people, to do so. That much is obvious. But there was also the
Where is he getting those images? Are those images from people that he knows in real life or has met, or are they images of like random stuff he found on Google Images?
Possibility that he was pretending to be a kid in order to exploit other children across the internet. At this point though, this was merely speculation.
Dude, this is so scary. Does he have a tongue ring there? He has like a piercing on his lip.
Much of the Smartschoolboy9 case.
This is so weird, dude. I'm sorry, I keep saying this, but this is so freaky, man. I'm like seriously weirded out.
Is remaining a mystery, and the rabbit hole was only getting deeper from here.
It's a filter. It doesn't really look like it looks like there's a filter applied to the video, like some kind of like VHS effects or something. But it doesn't look like a filter is like you being used from Snapchat or something, right? If that was the case, you would see it like glitching in and out because Snapchat is so shit. It looks like he has some kind of weird thing on his face and the video quality is just low. Community.
Months after this rabbit hole was introduced to the online world, the story began to be shared all across the internet, most notably on the r/internet mysteries subreddit, where the case really took off. There, internet sleuths began uncovering just how vast this web of accounts actually was, as it wasn't just these 3 pages. No, there seemed to be over a dozen, and likely even more that we still haven't found, as he's created his own sort of community, his own little world, where across each page he pretends to be a child, with these accounts typically following each other and frequently interacting. seemingly to make these characters appear as though they have real friends. On one of these pages, 12 Stockwell Joanne, he poses as a 14-year-old girl, using more AI images to depict explicit positions of this manufactured child, which I'm
assuming he's not showing the worst stuff here because YouTube.
Obviously I'm not going to show here. Though much like his Chloe account, he also shows images of...
Why the shoe fascination? What happened in this guy's childhood? Once again, the psychology I'm interested in. What happened in this guy's childhood revolving around shoes and made him so interested in it, to say the least? Lunchables make you feel better? Maybe later. Maybe.
Very real young girls.
I don't want to eat Lunchables, which is like a children's meal, while watching this. I think that would weird me out.
But this isn't the most concerning part of this account, as on numerous occasions, he's shown images of children at a playground he may have taken himself.
Oh shit.
This fantasy of being a schoolgirl and taking part in these school-centric activities is something carried over throughout multiple of his accounts, with his most common alias being Stephanie, of which he has numerous different accounts featuring that same name.
Yeah, I'm Stephanie.
Stop showing us your fetishism for freaks. Why would I stop showing you that? Tactical dish soap for 5 says this gives me the heebie-jeebies. Me too, buddy. What the hell is that? This, once again, this looks like some kind of ARG art. He went through this whole process of like photoshopping this and making the text here and like the weirdly realistic hair texture. It looks like a collage he made in like a scrapbook in real life and then like uploaded somewhere. The images like color grading is so odd. If I didn't know any better, I would almost think this is an ARG because of how weirdly it's done. It's like it's begging for investigation or attention on it from one of these channels, right? Bro's heading to Hogwarts with a degree of freaky. Dude, something like that.
Stephanie character claims to be a 12-year-old aspiring poet, with accounts all across the internet, many of which showcasing examples of her poetry, which carries on those same distinct sexual undertones. I race to complete my poems when I've got an early start, heart racing, mixed rhythms, maximizing miracles, rice with rap, and on the map, my Kennington, London syllables, dancing though I know my underwear might show if I lean forward. Good. Stephanie Stansfield. 12. But digging even deeper, her poetry has even seemingly been featured in various articles and even newspapers, showcasing that this rabbit hole extends far past just the online world. This app...
Wait, so this guy's posing as a kid to send it to newspapers? Thank you, JC, for becoming a member. Streetham Society News. Is this a real publication? Streetham Society News. Oh, this is a real... In the UK, I was right because of the spelling. This is like a real publication, seemingly. Poetry Corner. Hi to the society. I'm Stephanie Stansfield and shy. I'm 12 years of age, year 7. I'm London born and lived in Streatham for a while. I've written a poem. I've asked my half-brother what he remembers of the area. Then I put my thoughts onto paper. I could have written so much more, but I wanted to keep it short and yet still include a little tribute to June Whitfield. So it's as if I've traveled through time to include so much. I hope my poem is of some use. Who is June Whitfield? English television actress. Okay. And these people, I mean, it's just a local newspaper. There's no verification they're going to do to make sure it's a real child sending this shit in, right? Because they wouldn't even suspect that some freak would be doing this. Walking along Layham Court Road during a visit to Streatham. Plenty of children my age, and it's nice to have met them. Bro, it reads as so innocent if you don't know the context, but when you know this is like a 40-year-old man who's writing this shit, it's so much darker. Done up for Dunraven, and rightly, it's part of behaving. Year 7 and getting it right. New school and things that need doing. Mount Nod Road, Stockfield Road, close by the school, and my half-brother's abode. And half a mile away, Stanthorpe Road, where his girlfriend Zoe lived, that I know. Is he describing real children here, though? Are these just like inner workings of his mind, like made up fantasy shit, or are these real children that he's met in real life? Reith is the smartest commentary YouTuber. Why do you say that? In 1992 and 1993, a lovely friendship, but then Zoe moved, you see. But he will never forget her, says my half-brother David. Dude, these super specific things like 1992 and 93, when this person themselves is making these accounts may have been a child, I'm so curious if this is linked to their childhood abuse or like why they are this way. Seeing her after school gave him self-belief? What the f does that even mean? Self-belief. In the general store nearby Pronta Print, from 1994 to early 1996, the owner's eldest daughter made David's heart fly. He'd buy things he didn't need just to look in her eyes, look her in the eyes. There's the dates here are too specific. There's some weird shit going on that happened in this guy's past. Best drill rapper ever. I don't even know what that means. This person. Smartschoolboy9 is the best drill rapper ever. Streatham and Clapham High School, the green uniform and ties era, all the movies that have been screened at the Odeon Cinema, the various meals served in other restaurants, the joy of the queue as waited for buses get nearer. This poem definitely, I don't think I'm reading into it too much. This isn't just gibberish. This guy's like meticulous with everything he does. This has something to do with his upbringing and past and why he is the way he is. Like the information in here, I'm so certain about it. There's some kind of thing in here. Fixation with dates. Yeah, the specific dates of like 1992, 1993, then you have 94, 96. Like something happened in the 90s revolving this person, whether they were were the perpetrator or they were a victim of abuse themselves and made them this way. There's something going on here. There's something really weird going on.
Even deeper, her poetry is even seemingly...
And they're not even scared about hiding their identity. Like, they're revealing where they are through these poems, which are from the fake child.
...been featured in various articles and even newspapers, showcasing that this rabbit hole extends far past just the online world. This act is clearly their obsession, and he's been doing this for years, with the earliest examples that I could find coming from all the way back in 2018. And this Stephanie character seems to be his go-to alias, embodying it.
Is Stephanie a real person? Did they ever exist in real life? Well, that picture's crazy.
In even the literal sense.
What the is that?
As in,
what the is that?
One of his many pages dedicated to this Stephanie character, he dresses...
What is that? What is that?
...as her, wearing a wig and a dress, as he pretends to be a 12-year-old girl. Almost immediately after this case began gaining traction, the true...
Can we just go back to this? I don't like the real pictures. Can we just go back to whatever this is? This was kind of funny. I don't like the pictures of the fat man dressed as a small child. The walnut says wood. Dude, you're so... You're so twisted. You're twisted.
Magnitude of this rabbit hole was revealed. Across every single account are countless depraved posts and oddities that all could warrant discussion. But by far the most important discoveries were those that didn't actually occur on his own page, and rather the pages of other actual children. Do you like school? I do. It is good. You have some cool shirts, but I have to wear a school uniform.
He's responding to real kids on the internet. Trying to talk to them, dude. I still don't know how to say your name in chat, but longtime chatter says they probably feel isolated as a mentally challenged adult, so they've created an imaginary land where he's still a kid because school is probably the time he had the most chances to socialize. That's an interesting theory, but I am super curious about, based on the poem though, it makes sense. I'm super curious about like because clearly there's some kind of like sexualization going on with this guy, right? Like if you look at the pictures that he took of himself, like there is like with like showing the underside of his skirt and shit like that, like there is like a sexual tone to it with the short skirt and the stockings and stuff, right? There is something going on there. So it goes beyond just like some kind of sense of belonging. There's some deeper, weird psychological thing going on. Once again, like it could be as simple as like the last time they felt belonging was when they were a child. You know, they did talk about yearning for childhood in that poem, you know, in the early 90s, but there's something weird going on beyond that here.
And rather, the pages of other actual children. Do you like school? I do. It is good. You have some cool shirts, but I have to wear school uniforms to school. It is nice, but casual isn't allowed, and it's quite hot here in the UK, as the month of June suddenly got warmer. These are two examples out of many that show Smartschoolboy9 reaching out and attempting to befriend young children online. In one comment, he even warns a child about other comments from bad people, stating that it happens to most boys and...
But what's interesting is he's the one running all these accounts, so he could be plotting like, I'm going to pretend to be a predator here to interact with the kid, and then I'm going to come in and be the savior and interact with the kid, and then really that's when the bad shit happens, right? Like there's clearly some kind of weird Machiavellianism to this child grooming with the multiple accounts, because kids don't know better. They don't know. They're like, one person can make 10 accounts. They don't know what a bot account is. They don't know what any of this shit is. Like they just assume everybody on the internet is telling the truth. They don't get it.
In our age group, but stay safe, stay cool, don't be dismayed by creeps. This is our best evidence that these accounts weren't just made for age play. No, he's actually posing as a child in order to make friends with other children, and given his overtly sexual interests and aversion to CP, it's not hard to gather why he was doing this. And these examples are only what we found so far. It's possible that there are dozens, or who knows, maybe even hundreds of other comments out there, hidden on unknown children's accounts. This is predatory behavior. The man behind Schoolboy9 is a predator. And in case there was still any doubt of whether or not this was a sexual thing, here's what he had to say about being a 13-year-old girl.
Not going to read that screenshot, but yeah.
But have his
like I said, goes beyond just longing for childhood belonging or whatever.
Tactics actually work. Well, the frightening thing is, no one knows if he's actually been successful or not, or even what specifically he's looking for. We just know that he's trying to reach kids, as evidenced not only by his comments, but by the fact that he's solely following children on all of these pages. And though it's easy to look at these accounts and know that something is off, for children, it's not that simple, especially when there's pages showcasing photos of actual kids. Which brings up another frightening detail. I
wonder if his multiple accounts could be a manifestation of some sort of dissociative disorder, like he's playing different aspects of his life. That could be the case. He could be so mentally gone that is what's going on, but it could also be like a more cunning thing of like he knows he's one person and he's going to like pretend to be others to get in there, but it could be an unconscious thing as well. That's very possible. I mean, it's hard to, I'm being an armchair psychologist here. I don't know what's going on in his head, but It's interesting to speculate. We all have 7 days to live after watching this. Seems like a long time.
The images he's used of children have not been traced back to their original creator, and some seem to appear for the very first time online publicly on this man's pages, which might mean that he was sent them privately. There's even one image that David posted on his schoolboy account, which shows another kid that he claimed to be on a playdate with. Though it's impossible to say if this is real or not. For now, we just don't know for sure. Though given the fact that he's reaching out to children, posting fetish content centered around children, and has even potentially photographed kids in the wild, one thing is for certain: Smartschoolboy9 needs to be stopped.
What you have to do here is you'd have to take the photos that he's taken of like random kids in public and figure out where it was taken and figure out if that is local to him or somewhere he could have feasibly traveled, right? And then you can pinpoint if he was taking pictures of like kids in public or if he was pulling it from Google. That's what you have to, you have to do a hard docs basically, right?
Finding this man and reporting him to law enforcement quickly became the top priority for those investigating the case. And luckily, he left several glaring clues behind that made this process a whole lot easier. On numerous occasions across his many pages, he would post images and videos of specific locations, even showing streets and mentioning very particular areas in his poems, all of which centered around the London area, immediately giving us an idea of where he was located. And that wasn't all. I mentioned how the alias of Stephanie was one that he used more so than any other, but what's interesting is that there was another name used.
Part of the problem with stopping this kind of guy, though, is like unless he's specifically messaging a child something sexual, I don't remember if there was anything criminal. I don't think there's anything criminal he's technically done. Definitely looks really weird and disgusting. We can definitely tell the kind of person he is, but to get him arrested, you have to have something definitive. The worst thing I think that Nick Crowley said he did in terms of legality would be, it seemed like he was using real pictures of children, potentially from some real CP, and then like photoshopping that or using AI filters to incorporate it into his own posts. But yeah, I don't know if he's done anything illegal that I've seen yet that would, if that happened, that could have happened. I think I remember that from this video, but you got to nail him down as something specifically illegal, like, actually grooming a kid, which is very possible that he did. But to get him thrown in jail, you need that, Oh, I'm a small YouTuber and made a video about this a week ago. Glad to see big channels like you and Nick covering it, spreads more awareness than I can. Yeah, I've heard about this stuff for a while, but, it's just like I've got so much shit to cover. But it's good to see people talk about it for sure. It's super disturbing. It's interesting, but it's also super disturbing. I feel very unnerved by this.
Used just as often across his accounts, brought up time and time again, though it's a name that he never seemed to call any of his characters. Instead, he simply referred to this person as a stepbrother or a father, or even a friend from school, despite never actually picturing it.
That's why I'm curious, are these people he's describing people from his real life? Maybe people he had in his real life years ago when he was a child himself, or like family, friends, and stuff that he has in his life now. British cops would probably clive him a medal for being so brave. I think he meant give, maybe. I don't know much about British law enforcement. Man's got that EDP body and Chris Chan's shattered mental state. Dude, this is worse than Chris Chan. This is nuts. This is worse, for sure.
Just mentioning his name, David. And sure enough, after connecting a few dots, it would be revealed that this person's actual name was in fact David Alter, with a man being 59
59?
years old.
Holy shit.
At the moment, it doesn't appear that David has any criminal convictions or documented history of this behavior. But we do know that thanks to the investigation done on Reddit and Discord, he is currently being investigated by local authorities who hopefully put an end to his online behavior and shine some more light on who this person actually is.
I hope they get him for something. This guy's got to be pinched right away. Right away.
As for the time being, the only other information that we really know about David is that he likes to write poetry and he makes music.
What was that poem you wrote?
Really know about David is that he likes to write poetry.
Song lyrics written by David London. Copyright 2015. Thoughtfully and sensitively mentioning the demolition of Karen Point, Kennington, London, 2000 and 9/11, New York. A former 2-block. 9/11 reference. Okay. This almost doesn't look like real text, too. If he did it super meticulously, but it almost looks like a font or like some kind of AI creation of it. I think Chris would destroy Smartschoolboy9. June 1997. Karen Point in the gas explosion. But he stood his ground until 2000 and the inevitable demolition. Many great tenants had to move on, some still disillusioned about the way it was done. What is the Karen Point gas explosion? Once again, another thing from the 90s. Found an article here on the UK Housing Wiki, which apparently has a fandom page. Karen Point was a 22-story tower block on Kennington Road on the Ethelred Estate in Lambeth, central London. It was built in 1969, is the first to be built on the estate and contained 86 flats. apartments. At 1:30 a.m. on June 26, 1997, the tower was rocked by a gas explosion. The explosion occurred in the boiler house in the basement or side of the tower block. Most of the residents were in bed when the explosion occurred. Many woke up believing there had been a bomb or an airplane had struck the building and evacuated the building in a state of panic. After hours of confusion on the night, residents either went to family or friends or were housed in emergency accommodation, mostly local community centers. So this is a real event that he's referencing here. Many great tenants had to move on, some still disillusioned about the way it was done. Amongst those is a guy called Winston, named after Churchill and made for all seasons. He started again in New York, new life, at the World Trade Center. It felt so right. Of course, part of his heart was still at Karen Point, and one thing for sure really drove home that point. A friend of Winston's at Brittany Point sent him some footage of Karen Point. The footage was of his demolition and the clearing up stages until there was nothing. 1 year later at the World Trade Center, Winston had time off until mid-September. It was so that he could be back in London in the big build-up to his friend's wedding. Then came the news of 9/11. No job to go back to. What's next for Winston? He didn't want his friend to see him cry, so he went to the Hotspur Street, wondering why 3 great buildings 2 years in a row had vanished from his world, blow after blow. But Winston imagined Churchill and land emerging from rubble with building plans. Drop on one page, a tear on page 2, but very much intact post-attack. Renewed, he worked very hard to win new days, and Winston, like Churchill, still does to this day. What is this? He reminds me of Billy Milligan. Who is that? The campus was an American man who was the subject of a highly publicized court case in Ohio. What about him reminds you of this guy?
And he makes music.
Just the general weirdness.
I think I hear a running tram going back in time, not out of time. I think I like a little lemon and lime. Say Mary Ann, yes, Steely Dan. I like the sound of that running tram.
Bro, this sounds like the intro to a Korn song. What the is that? It's demonic. That's straight up demonic.
And his name also appears in a random newspaper where he's discussing the importance of kids wearing school uniforms. And that's really all we have at the moment.
So he went to private school, seemingly, or he didn't go, and as a result, he has a fascination with it, probably, because he wishes he was in private school and wearing a school uniform. This is so weird.
Though there is one very important aspect that we have yet to talk about in relation to this man, with that being David's mental state.
His music sounds like a fork scraping a plate. The thing is, like, the music itself, whatever, if you want to call it music, okay? Ben Shapiro would say, this is not real music. It's like, it sounds like it's almost designed to be creepy. Like, if somebody's trying to make a creepy song, you would make it sound like that. If you're trying to make a creepy wave file, you'd make it sound like that. So it's so interesting to me that this guy, like, made, like, the most stereotypically creepy thing you could make and also is a freak himself. It's so interesting.
Some believe that David is a mentally unwell individual who potentially doesn't know the extent of what they are doing. Now, even if this is...
The dude's trolling. What's the troll? Haha, I'm a pedophile. Is that the troll? I mean, if it was one joke, you know, haha, I f kids, whatever. But it's not, that's not what it is. This person is a clear attraction to this shit. Maybe you could say it's like baiting attention, but it's not really trolling, you know? It's not.
Is the case, his behavior still needs to be stopped.
Oh, in reference to Billy, Nab says they both have a weird obsession with creating different characters and playing them. And if you see interviews with Billy, they both speak in a very soft and baby-like tone. Gotcha.
To be given proper help to assure that no one else gets hurt by his actions. But it is important to note that David is far more intelligent than he lets on, as his personal accounts show us that he is fairly well-spoken and articulate. And throughout his problematic content, most of his bad grammar and strange verbiage seems to be his attempts at more authentically trying to replicate a child. But it's impossible to know.
I was assuming he was literally a person, but it seems like he does have some level of intelligence, and he goes into this kind of mode where he's a freak and he's like in his fetish state or whatever you want to call it,
showing us that he seems to know what he's doing and he knows that it's wrong.
Response. He responded?
Since the exposure of David's accounts, he hasn't silently slithered away like most other predators would. Instead, he's actually responded on more than a few occasions,
really
lashing out to those who have DM'd him, calling them the perverts and predators. He even left a comment on his Joanne account seemingly directed at himself, writing, "You are really sad. And if that's your name, David, be honest with yourself. You're 50, as you said elsewhere. You reply to me,
does this person have like multiple personalities?
Girl, as if I'm your buddy? No chance ever." This is something David does all the time. It's projection. And it started all the way back at the beginning of this rabbit hole.
So that's the account run by a man pretending to be a boy.
And he continued posting these predator exposés, along with other warnings about predators on the internet across every page he made, each of which being hyper-specific to his own predatory ways and fetishes. Things he accuses others of are blatant projections of his own dark vices, and I can think of 2 reasons why. Number 1, that this makes his account look safer to other parents and children. It gives the appearance that he's not another internet creep because he's actively calling them out. It's a way to build trust in order to befriend and exploit kids. And number 2, he knows what he's doing is wrong, and this is his bizarre way of self-reporting, probably to make himself feel better about what he's doing. And it's obvious based on just
what I'm curious about is what I'm super curious about is how mentally ill is he? Like, does he have multiple personalities in his head? Does he have like multiple things going on in his mind, multiple different people rotating, or is it like, okay, now it's time to pretend? You know what I mean? I'm super curious
how accurate these claims against others are to him. Does he wish he were a young boy in a school classroom, looking nice and being successful at school? Yes. And these claims are made over and over again. As each time he calls someone out, he's further exposing himself, which becomes more concerning when you realize that these projections seemingly aren't strictly within those eerily familiar expose posts he made on TruthSticks11, he mentions how this user not only wanted to exploit children online, but they wanted to them as well, as he mentions that this user has a clear interest in cannibalizing kids.
Hey yo, what the f***?
And even performing ritualistic sacrifices on them. And based on how accurate all of the other
dude, this guy's a serial killer
exposures are to himself, I have no reason to believe that this isn't part of his MO as well. As crazy as that may sound, this also seems to coincide with some of the content he's posted that
this guy is literally like an archetype from a TV show, like file child murderer. This would be in an episode of Criminal Minds.
Can't show you.
It's like too good to be true.
These photos show children edited in contorted positions, including some where he's added what appears to be rope to give the illusion that they're tied up. And what makes this even more disturbing is that on his accounts, he's posted numerous photos in the vicinity of schools, on nearby secluded trails, and even some where he discusses what time school starts and ends, saying that he
Bro, you're 60. Why do you know that?
likes to be awake and ready for it. There's even photos that show other children outside from a distance, almost as if David was stalking them. This is highly concerning. Even if we don't know truly how low this man's perversions get, he is still far too close to children, which is perfectly encapsulated by this photo of him on a school playground during the day. And with his disturbing desires, I don't even want to imagine what he's capable of. Which brings us to the final piece of content that I need to talk about. Chasing another boy running in heeled mini boots.
No.
This was the text shown on screen during a short video posted onto one of David's many accounts. And in the video, we see the man pointing the camera at himself, showing his full face of white makeup and red lipstick. This video is edited more egregiously than any others I've seen across his page, with multiple explicit images and huge emojis covering the majority of the screen, though just barely enough of the footage can be seen that shows David as he turns the camera around, revealing a young boy, who he then proceeds to chase after, giggling all the while. Whether this was an edited video or a real occurrence, we don't currently know. David's doings are a mystery that will take some time to unravel, and my hope is that law enforcement will be able to follow through and help shed some more light on this individual and finally put an end to his twisted behavior. But at this point, only one thing is for sure: the story of Smartschoolboy9 is far from over.
Some people need to be sent straight to hell, I think, is probably the explanation here, you know. Grab him, put him in jail, get some research on him for why he is this way, and then send him straight to the bottom of hell, okay? Send him right there. Some people gotta go, okay? Some people just gotta go to hell. Some people just need to be chilling with Satan all day, okay? With the fires, frankly. Is he Asian or black or Asian or black or Blasian? Based on the mask, I can't tell. He looks like a white dude from Britain to me, just with weird shit going on. Jesus Christ. If you have any questions on this guy, I've been researching him for a month straight. Would hop on Discord to discuss all of your stuff. If you want to put your Discord name in chat, I'm gonna go piss and then we can talk if you want. Yeah, sure. Because I am curious, but Jesus Christ, man. Disturbing video. Straight to hell. Straight to hell. More like dumb schoolboy 8, am I right? Jesus. More like dumb adult file 8. Bro. The Ivory Door. Did you put your Discord in chat? If you did, I did not see it. 15 years ago, Rockstar would have turned this story into a Bully 2 and Manhunt 3 crossover. Yeah, probably. Probably. Jeez, man. What a disturbing video, Nick Crowley. Good job on the research, but goddamn. Goddamn. The world is a vampire. What's up?
What's up, dude?
So you made a video about this schoolboy guy before it blew up, I guess?
Yeah, I saw like the Reddit post on that subreddit like the day that it came out, and I was like, I know this shit's gonna blow up on YouTube. I gotta start cranking out the content on it.
Right. Do we
But-
know anything like more about this guy's psychology? Because I'm super. That's why I'm super curious about like his background and like what made him this way. Maybe.
Well, like I talked to like obviously, I guess take this with a grain of salt because it was like the Reddit investigators, but they
Yeah.
showed me a lot of the proof they had, and basically it seems like he's in like a home, like a mental health home, but like he has like autonomy, like he lives in a home for people who are like mentally unwell, but he's still allowed to like
He has
walk
internet
around on the
access.
street.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah, and internet.
So is he like is he like mentally disabled or?
I mean, I would assume so, but like he's at the very least obviously like something's wrong, but
Yeah, but I mean,
I
what I'm saying is like, is he like mentally ill or is he like disabled or both? Like, because I mean, Nick Crowley said it in his video. He didn't really show the post, I assume censored because of like YouTube privacy violation TOS, but he said that his like personal Facebook, David Alters or whatever, seems to be somewhat cogent and intelligent. So
yeah, I think if he's in that home, it's more so for like being like more so like mental illness, not like he's like mentally disabled. Because he, I mean, I've read his Facebook and shit, and he seems like a pretty like intelligent, like he's able to like form sentences and shit and like talk
Right.
like a normal person. Like there was nothing that indicated to me that he'd be like actually disabled.
right, okay, gotcha. Interesting. When did this guy start popping up? Because I've been getting emails about him for a little bit. When did he start becoming like a thing people were talking about? Was it because your video came out 7 days ago, a week ago? When was this like becoming a topic of discussion on Reddit and stuff like that?
Probably like I think it was like 3 or 4 weeks ago, but this guy has had these accounts up for like 5 years.
Yeah, they said since 2018, right? Yeah.
Yeah, like it's insane that it went on this long without anyone really like noticing.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it is like, I mean, we saw the account had 17 followers, right? And that's like at its peak of popularity before Nick Crowley posted a video. So, seemingly, it was just like super under the radar. I mean, the thing is, if you scroll across one of those posts on Instagram, like, one of the like less egregious ones was just like some weird AI art, you know, if you have it in your recommended, you're not going to think twice about it. You're just going to be like, okay, this is schizo. I'm going to move past it, right?
Yeah, that is true. But like I think more so just like he was like following and like commenting on kids' posts. Like that's the part to me where I don't understand how it didn't get noticed earlier. Like no parent saw that and like said anything about that.
Well, seemingly the
Thought
account
that,
was
like-
almost trying to like impersonate a parent too. So probably if a parent that's like not tech savvy, you know, or like a weird internet rabbit hole type guy, like they wouldn't when they see it, they're not going to instantly think like, oh, this is weird. You know, even if they see their kid following it, they're going to be like, oh, it's some weird account, you know, that like kids
Yeah, it's
follow
like-
that has
it's like
good. Yeah. Well, especially because a bunch of the posts were like, Philia is bad, right? So when a parent
Yeah.
reads that instantly, they're not thinking, I made this, right?
Yeah, it's like, but like, dude, that account really disturbed me the most. Like, I feel like that gives the biggest like window into his psychology, like the way that he spoke on that account.
The Stephanie one or the Smart School one?
No, the Truth Sticks one, the one where
Oh,
he's
yeah,
pretending
yeah.
to the mom. Like
Mhm.
that was just like to me, it's like an admission that he like knows exactly what's going on.
It seems that way, yeah. Either that or he's got like, once again, like literally multiple personalities where some of them are child personalities and some of them are adults that like don't like the children being preyed on or something. Like it's hard to tell how deep this goes.
Yeah,
I'm curious
I
if
was-
law enforcement will find anything.
I don't really think that law enforcement is going to do that much. I hope they do.
I would assume if they
Um,
search his hard drives, they're going to find something not kosher, you know?
But also the thing is like, and this is really, really take it with a grain of salt, but someone posted like up and was like, oh yeah, I recognize this guy. Like he's been like in and out of like the courthouse that I used to work at for a long time. And like the court would always just kind of rule that like he wasn't like he was too like mentally unwell to like be found guilty or something. And then they would just like let him go.
I'm curious
For,
what
like,
he
talking
was
to
in court
children.
for doing. Like, was he...
It said talking to children in public.
Okay, but was he... Like, what was he
he's
talking to them
creepy.
about, I guess, would be the question, you know? Like, was
It
it something you
wasn't
could
that
prosecute him
specific.
for? Because technically,
why I
it's
was
not
like-
illegal to talk to a child in public, you know? Even if you are, like, a pedophile. Unless you're molesting them or trying to, technically it's not a crime, you know?
I could only assume that it was because he had said some weird shit. I mean, the guy didn't really get that into detail. I contacted him and tried to like find out more about it, and he just never responded.
It
so-
could be it's just some weird shit, or it
maybe
could just be
bullshit.
like people at the park notice that like these kids are running around playing, and then there's like this like 50-year-old, 60 or 59-year-old weirdo dressed up in a school uniform talking to them, you know? That might have been kind of a trip, you know, like, oh, what's going on
Yeah.
here? Red flag, guys, you know?
If you see that guy at the playground, you got to call the cops immediately.
Yeah, you know, you got to do something about it. Damn. Is there anything else you wanted to share specifically about your investigations, I guess?
I think just like I don't know. I thought the Crowley video was interesting, which is that like the one thing that he raised that I was kind of thinking about while I was like researching was that like I like it does almost seem like he is like expressing like guilt through some of his posts. Like he's like stacking being like he's being creepy and trying to like talk to kids, but then he's also being like it seems to be almost like an admission and like expression that like he like doesn't
He's calling
wanna be
himself
that way.
out. Yeah.
Yeah. But like I don't know. I just only thing I could say about it is just that like I hope that guy just gets the help he needs because, like, obviously, like that guy needs to be like watched more than he's being watched, and he needs like mental health treatment, and
Yeah.
that's
He
just
also
something he's getting.
he can't have a phone either. You know.
Oh,
no,
yeah,
no
exactly.
phone. This guy
Take
should
away
be
the
playing
fucking
with
phone and
the.
computer.
He should be playing with the big blocks in the padded room. You know. He shouldn't have Instagram.
The Lego set, bro. That's what he needs.
They might be a little advanced, but yeah, I like the spirit. Exactly. All right, cool. Well, thanks for calling in.
Yeah, thanks for having me. That was crazy. I'm a big fan. You know, keep up. Just watch the Daniel Larson one. That was fire.
Swag. Appreciate it, bro. Yeah. Take it easy. Good luck with your channel.
Yeah, thank you, bro.